Mom, you're watching News 6 at 10 p.m.
I have nothing but sorrow for her loss, and I miss her all the time. Her passing has torn me and my family apart as well.
Now on News 6, apologies from the man who murdered 13-year-old Madeline Soto. Her loved ones outraged.
I have so much hatred in my heart, specifically for the creature that's sitting in this room today. A life sentence is not punishment enough for what he did to Maddie.
No one unloaded on Stephan Stearns more than Maddie's grieving father.
I can't grasp it. I can't grasp the selfishness of you, the deplorability of your actions. You're depraved, you're weak, you're a coward, you're a sneak thief.
Now everyone wants to know, where was Maddie's mother? I'm Ginger Gadsden outside the Osceola County Courthouse, where an emotional day is winding down. Stephan Stearns learned just hours ago he will spend the rest of his life in prison for the murder and rape of 13-year-old Madeline Soto. I was in the courtroom this afternoon when Stearns changed his pleas, admitting he is guilty to 20 sex offenses against his girlfriend's daughter and pleading no contest to her murder. His life sentence without parole happened in front of a crowd of Maddie's family, friends, and law enforcement, hoping for justice for Maddie. Now, News 6 investigator Mike DeForest has been following this case closer than anyone. He broke the news of today's hearing on Friday when you noticed there was a change happening and that this was happening today.
Yeah, the trial was supposed to start tomorrow,
yeah.
And then he entered this last-minute plea today.
Yeah, and today in court, Stearns gave an apology, and that was not well received.
I think a lot of folks in the gallery, particularly law enforcement, kind of groaned when he said he was sorry for all of this happening.
I've prayed to God countless times to trade places with her, to take me instead.
Moments after a judge sentenced Stephan Stearns to life in prison without the possibility of parole for the murder of 13-year-old Madeline Soto, Stearns spoke out about the girl prosecutors say he raped for years and then strangled to death.
And I miss her all the time. Her passing has torn me and my family apart as well. And she truly was a joy.
As part of an agreement with prosecutors, Stearns pleaded no contest to murdering Soto, who was his girlfriend's daughter. Legally, no contest is the same as a guilty plea, but Stearns did not take responsibility for intentionally killing Soto. Yet he did plead guilty to 20 sex crimes, including sexual battery on a child. By pleading to crimes that carry a life sentence, prosecutors agreed to drop their pursuit of the death penalty against Stearns.
It just gets worse every time I rethink about it and the true horror of what this man visited upon her.
Tyler Wallace, who is Madeline Soto's biological father, did not live in the same state as his daughter as she was growing up, but he says he became closer to Soto in the months before her death.
You're depraved, you're weak, you're a coward, you're a sneak thief. You crept into a family and took advantage and exploited them when they were weak.
Besides Madeline Soto's father there, we also heard a statement from Madeline Soto's maternal grandmother that was read by prosecutors. There were also several family members and friends who gave very emotional testimony inside about how much they missed Madeline.
Well, we were both looking for one person, and that is Maddie's mom.
Correct. Everyone expected at a hearing like this that you would hear from the victim's own mother, but Jennifer Soto was not in court today, never heard from today. No one knows exactly where she was.
Yeah, there were people who were outside of this courthouse asking where she was, and no one could seem to answer that question. Mike DeForest, thank you for that reporting. And, you know, after the hearing, News 6's Catherine Silver spoke to the lawyer of Madeline's dad, who insists today's plea deal happened with the family's blessing.
I spoke with an attorney who gave a statement on Maddie's father's behalf right after Stephan Stearns was sentenced, and she was asked how he feels about Stearns' statement that he gave in court.
I can't speak for them. I can tell you that I thought it was disgusting. I did not take that as an apology. I took that as he misses her. For whatever motive or reason, he misses her, and I was disgusted by it.
That is Deborah Barra. She also happens to be a well-known former prosecutor. She says Maddie's father has come to terms with the conclusion of his daughter's case. I asked her specifically about Stearns' plea of no contest to her murder.
Obviously, with a trial coming out, and the sex crimes trial was going to be starting on Tuesday, that's a lot of videos. It's their little girl. And I think he recognizes that he that Stephan Stern is going to die in prison. The death penalty is you die in prison, and he is not getting out ever. And I think that he understands that, and he understands the trade-off in terms of, okay, he's going to spend the rest of his life in prison, and my little girl does not have to essentially go through this.
Stern's plea also allows him to avoid the death penalty, and it allows Maddie's family to avoid the often lengthy appeals process that comes with capital offense cases. Back to you.
And while the sentencing does bring some closure to Maddie's family, her murder leaves a hole in their lives. I was able to speak to one member of her family right after the hearing today.
It's so sad to, be experiencing this. The whole entire family's hurt. Like, we want as much justice for her. I think it deserves more. I mean, life in prison, it's a lot, but I think he also deserves the death penalty after, a certain time rot in prison. And, Maddie will always be remembered no matter what, like her joy, everything about her big blue eyes. Like, the family just loved her very much.
What did you think about his statement?
It's disgusting. It's like all the stuff that he did to her and all the pain she went through, it's just gross to hear those words coming out of his mouth. Like, he shouldn't be saying any of those. Like, that just makes more pain to the family hearing those words.
Yeah, and more pain that they will avoid because the trial that was supposed to have started tomorrow now will not happen. And had they gone to trial, Matt, they would have had to have heard some pretty awful testimony about what happened and what 13-year-old Maddie had to endure for her short life.
Let's hope they get some closure out of this. Yeah.
And investigator Mike DeForest has put together an in-depth 6-part look at how the entire Maddie Soto investigation unfolded. You can find it right now on the homepage of clickorlando.com and on our News 6 YouTube page.
Another big story, a big break in a Brevard County hit-and-run investigation. Detectives found a gold Honda Accord that slammed into a 55-year-old woman. We've stopped the video before actual impact. The woman was walking in her Port St. John neighborhood earlier this month when it happened on Arabella Lane and Barclay Drive. Now that they have the car, troopers are getting more evidence to figure out who was driving at the time. The woman broke her foot, fractured her neck. Neighbor tells us she was released from the hospital and is back home recovering. Troopers have arrested a man accused of going more than 150 miles an hour on I-4. 20-year-old Octavius Hunt Jr. will be one of the first to be charged under Florida's new super speeder law. They say a trooper spotted him flying through the I-4 express lanes in Altamont Springs early yesterday morning. Troopers say he had 3 others in the car with him at the time. Hunt was taken to the hospital. His car was impounded for 30 days. Florida's new super speeder law went into effect at the beginning of this month. Drivers clocked going 50 miles per hour over the speed limit or just over 100 face up to 30 days in jail and a $500 fine. Repeat offenders could get up to 90 days and a $1,000 fine. Their driver's license could also be revoked for a year.
The dad of a 5-year-old boy who accidentally shot himself in the head is behind bars tonight. Dexter Neal is charged with child neglect. An arrest report shows he says he slept with the boy often as a way to keep him calm. His son is on the autism spectrum and has frequently had outbursts. That night, Neal says he slept with one of his guns under his pillow right next to the little boy and forgot it was there in the morning. Neal says when he got up to use the bathroom, his son found the gun and shot himself. Neal told police he always keeps guns nearby for self-defense and always has a round in the chamber, but claims he typically does not sleep with a gun in bed. The 5-year-old was flown to Arnold Palmer Hospital last month for emergency surgery. Tonight, Eustis police say he is currently recovering at a rehab facility. Neal was still in jail on a $20,000 bond at last check.
Well, tonight, a growing controversy in the city of Winter Springs over tree fees. $250,000 that city commissioners voted not to charge a developer for mowing down 100 trees. Now they've met again to discuss changing their minds, claiming they should have never voted in the first place. Winter Springs community correspondent Eric Von Anken is digging into those claims.
The controversy centers around this corner of 434 in Winter Springs and what used to be here, trees cut down to make room for all of this. Winter Springs, like so many cities, charges an arbor fee.
This money is going to replace those trees in other parts of the city.
But the mayor disagrees with most of his commissioners over how much money the developer originally agreed to pay.
The $149,000 was paid.
The developer argued at last month's city commission meeting it had already paid up $149,000, according to a 2017 agreement, to cover all arbor fees for all current and future phases of the project, and was shocked when the city demanded another $227,000. The city's attorney warned commissioners the original agreement did not cover additional development.
You waive it here, they're going to come back for the next portion and say that, you know, they're entitled to the same waiver.
Still, the majority of commissioners,
Commissioner Caruso,
aye,
voted to remove the additional arbor fee of nearly $250,000. So the mayor took to Facebook with a post that got more than 60 comments, calling the vote a dangerous precedent and calling out his commissioners. He wrote, quote, each of the commissioners who voted for the fee removal held private meetings with representatives of the project.
And I regret the way that may have come across.
Mayor, you basically put it out there to the community that you're challenging our ethics.
The commission claimed they were bullied by the developer into voting last month and admitted they should have waited.
The whole thing is ambiguous. The whole thing smells on both sides.
No, we should have postponed the vote, is what we should have.
Yes, exactly.
We never should have held that vote.
So what happens now? Well, ultimately, the commission decided to bring all of this up again at their next commission meeting here in August, even possibly rescinding their original vote, even under threat of lawsuit from the developer, to which the mayor replied, bring it. By the way, I should tell you, I did an interview for about 15 minutes each with both the mayor and Commissioner Victoria Bruce here today at City Hall. I put those interviews unedited for you with all of my questions right now on clickorlando.com inside this story. I'm your Winter Springs community correspondent, Eric Von Eichen, News 6.
Well, it's video of a traffic stop going viral.
And it may be hard to watch. A driver gets punched in the head by a deputy. A Florida sheriff has launched an internal investigation but says there's more to the story.
We are pinpointing a big-time pattern change. The heat's going to go away, relatively speaking, but the storm chances go way up. We're going to have the timeline for your Tuesday in a few minutes.
Like, I just feel like something clamp on the foot and just like yank me off, like almost like a cartoon, just like in a millisecond, just I'm off the board in the water.
A local surf instructor turned shark bite survivor shares his story, why he says this is unlike anything he's encountered in the water before.
You're watching News 6 at 11, live on a Monday night, covering Dr. Phillips, Flagler Beach, and all of Central Florida.
Tonight, viral dash cam video has prompted Jacksonville's sheriff to launch an internal investigation.
This might be hard for you to watch. It happened back in February, but the driver who was punched in the face just recently shared the video.
Exit the vehicle now! Exit the vehicle!
Jacksonville Sheriff T.K. Waters says William McNeil Jr. was pulled over for not having his headlights or taillights on during bad weather. But when the 22-year-old asked for a supervisor, things escalated to a deputy shattering the window, hitting him in the face, and pulling him out of his car. The Jacksonville Sheriff's Office held a press conference about this late today and showed body cam footage from the incident.
These administrative reviews are ongoing, but the state attorney's office has determined that none of the involved officers violated criminal law. In this case, the cell phone camera footage that began viral circulation over the weekend does not comprehensively capture the circumstances surrounding this incident.
A civil rights attorney who's representing McNeil says his client is still recovering from injuries.
Tonight, a surf instructor is describing the moment he felt a shark suddenly clamp down on his foot. We told you about this bite last Friday.
So tonight he's out of the hospital recovering and shared his story with News 6's Jana Manohalal. Just to let you know, some of the images of this injury are pretty graphic.
And then all of a sudden, like, I just feel like something clamp on the foot and just like yank me off, like almost like a cartoon, just like in a millisecond, just I'm off the board in the water.
Friday, June 18th started out like any other day for 18-year-old surf instructor Sam Hollis, but it quickly turned into a fight to keep his foot after a shark attacked him.
I've been, surfing at the inlet where that's where most of the bites happen. I've been there before and I've been bumped, I've been grazed, but nothing even comes close to what this felt like.
Jackson Craw, the only friend to visit Sam in the hospital, shares his immediate reaction to hearing about the bite.
It's crazy, but we both spent a lot of time in New Smyrna, so it's nothing we didn't expect. So it was cool after the fact to see, but I was terrified for him, honestly. But
So you just came back from your first follow-up with your podiatrist.
Yes.
How did that go? Did he say anything that, to keep it elevated, to not keep it elevated? What's the next step for you?
Next step is basically just rest. And he said number one thing was protein so that the muscle rebuilds, because I do have some areas where it's deep tissue damage.
I asked Sam if he would do it all differently.
If I had to do it again, I'd probably do it the same exact way, because, I get to keep the foot, I get to run, I get to swim, I get to surf, all in due time, of course, but I'm going to be a completely normal guy after I'm healed. So really, I'd do it all again if I had to get bit.
New Smyrna locals regularly record between 5 and 10 shark bites each year, and Sam's was the 4th this year. Gavin Naylor, the director of the Florida Program for Shark Research, tells me in an email that because of a high level of wave activity, high amounts of bait fish, and the wave activity attracting more surfers, when a wave hits, it actually makes it harder for the shark to tell if what they're biting into is a bait fish or a foot, making New Smyrna Beach shark bite capital of the world. But Sam shares some words of advice for those too scared to hit the beach after the attack.
But don't let fear keep you from doing something that you want to do.
In Maitland, Jana Manohalal, News 6.
I mean, sometimes fear should keep you from doing stuff.
I mean, what are you going to do? And there are more people in the water right now, so the chances of an encounter are, probably go up a little bit.
You just have to be
as
the
well.
least appetizing of the people in the water, I think. Well, Jonathan Kagas, everybody wants to be in the water. It's been so hot out.
No doubt about that. Big changes tomorrow, though. We are going to get a little cooler. I mean, relatively speaking, it's not going to be in the mid-70s window opening weather by any means. However, the extra thunderstorm chances that are coming earlier in the day are certainly going to help. It's all because of this guy here, stalled front. It's a very similar pattern to what we had last week. You can download that free News 6 weather app to get lightning detection alerts or any kind of warnings issued by the National Weather Service right to your phone. That interactive will help you track those storms to your location tomorrow as well. But this front going to help to ignite a lot of thunderstorms tomorrow. And don't be surprised when you see them on the early side of the day either. I think we're going to wake up to extra cloud cover and then storms getting going early. So here we go at 10 o'clock already. This is 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. Already starting with scattered thunderstorms erupting across central Florida. And you see the expansion of that through about lunchtime through the early afternoon. That is 2 to 3 o'clock with widespread rain and thunderstorms around. So again, that is going to keep the temperatures down. into the upper 80s, some of us staying in the 80s for high temperatures tomorrow because of the extra clouds and rain. 9 o'clock tomorrow, we should be done with those storms, then likely going to have a repeat performance of that atypical storm time again across central Florida. Palm Coast, good evening. We are at 79, 75 in Palm Bay. You can kind of tell who got the rain and who didn't tonight, with temperatures in the Villages back to the mid-70s. Groveland, we're at a steamy 82. Same in Orlando and Kissimmee, back to the low to mid 80s right now. Rain chances tomorrow morning when you wake up at 30%. We're starting things off pretty steamy again tomorrow. We're not going to get as far, certainly, as we did this weekend. We had highs in the mid to upper 90s. We'll stay in the upper 80s to lower 90s tomorrow. That's because of that rain chance tomorrow at about 70%. Tropical front looking pretty good. Hurricane Center does have one area highlighted moving towards the Lesser Antilles. You can see, though, there's not a lot of thunderstorm action within this little teeny tiny yellow bubble. Only a 10% shot over the next couple of days. Still a lot of dust. The Atlantic does not appear conducive to supporting any kind of tropical development really for the next couple of weeks. Maybe a short-lived something out there, but nothing threatening over the next couple of weeks. 70% shot on Wednesday. We have a 91 degree temperature on Wednesday afternoon, 93 degrees on Thursday. Now here's a look at your pinpoint accurate forecast.
Sponsored by Strata Air Conditioning and Heating. AC emergency, you ought to call Strata.
Temperatures over the next few days warming back up to the mid to upper 90s.
Jonathan, thank you. Ahead at 10, a big effort to bring back oyster reefs to the Indian River.
We know that oysters have been in this area and been part of the human diet in this area for over 1,000 years.
Why these reefs could help improve the river's health, that's next. Well, oyster reefs once took up a significant portion of the Indian River. Most have disappeared from overharvesting, pollution, and erosion.
Now, scientists are trying to bring them back. News 6's Paul Giorgio shows us why.
We know that oysters have been in this area and been part of the human diet in this area for over 1,000 years, which is really cool.
Hope Leonard has her eyes on the past,
They're amazing creatures.
but her focus is on the future.
You know, every little bit helps.
She's knee-deep in the Indian River, where hope isn't just her name, it's what drives her.
Yes, you always have to have hope. That is my name, and gotta live by it.
The Conservation Restoration Coordinator with Restore Our Shores is leading a year-long survey of oyster health in the river.
72.
Oyster reefs once covered much of the Indian River Lagoon.
To the right?
But overharvesting and declining water quality have drastically reduced oyster populations and reef structures.
Thank you.
As part of the study,
Got all that good lagoon algae on there.
Leonard and her team place clean oyster shells in the water monthly to attract oyster larvae called spat.
This was blank when we put it out, so it would look like this.
The spat settle on the shells and grow into new oysters.
And then if you look here, we have an oyster here, here, here. It's looking like there's a little bit less than 40 on here. So just on this side, and then if you turn it over, there's even more.
Good news for a river system that's struggled with nutrient pollution and algae blooms. So why is what's happening here so important? Well, studies show one oyster, little guy like this, can filter 50 gallons of water in one day. Now imagine what tens of thousands can do over time. Can we actually see like where the water would come in and where it would come out? And
So
it comes in dirty and goes out clean?
So we actually can. You can kind of see this opening here. So this shell is no longer has an oyster in it, but they would open just very, very slightly like that, pull in water, and then they would digest it, and then they would push the water out through their siphon, and that water would come out free of algae and nutrients.
Clean and clear.
Clean and clear.
Leonard says it will take more than oysters to return the river to what it once was. But with a little hope, we'll get there.
I do think that being hopeful can really just help move and progress you forward with your ideas and your mentality. And I think it can help to make you more creative in looking for solutions.
Paul Giorgio, News 6.
What a great story.
It really, I mean, anything that you can tell us to make nature better or to help nature along, I love it.
And we have done wrong to that Indian River, so
Yeah,
let's
we
help
need
it
to do
restore
right.
our shores. Has been oyster restoring reefs for more than 15 years now.
Yeah, they've helped create about 100 oyster beds. We'll be right back. You can find all of tonight's stories plus breaking news right here on News 6 Plus.
It's free to download to your smart TV or streaming device. Have a good night. See you at 11.